Goedemiddag iedereen. Welkom bij de stakeholder webinar van Reconstruct. Ik ben Silke van Clean Energy Park. Wij zijn de proeftuin die het demohuis van Reconstruct zal bouwen. De locatie toch, waar jullie straks meer over te weten komen. En wij bevinden ons in het researchpark in Zellik, dat zich net binnen de Brusselse ring bevindt. Wij zullen binnen dit project de contactpersoon zijn voor de Belgische stakeholders. En jullie kunnen dus altijd ons contacteren. Vandaag krijgen jullie een kort overzicht van het Reconstruct-project en gaan jullie kennis maken met enkele van de 16 Europese partners die samenwerken aan dit project. Al even om te zeggen, het is een Europees project, dus enkele onder ons spreken enkel Engels of Spaans, dus sommige presentaties zullen in het Engels gegeven worden. Dan enkele praktische afspraken. Mag ik jullie vragen om op mute te blijven staan, zodat er geen chaos ontstaat. Vragen kunnen jullie tijdens de sessie in de Q&A of de vragen- en antwoordenbox stellen en zullen tijdens of na de webinar behandeld worden. We gaan ook deze sessie opnemen, zodat we deze later nog kunnen delen en zodat jullie deze ook nog verder kunnen verspreiden naar andere mensen die mogelijk geïnteresseerd kunnen zijn. En dan als laatste gaan we tijdens de sessie toch wat interactie proberen te creëren via een Mentimeter. Dus daarom vragen we jullie al om oftewel deze QR-code te scannen nu, zodat die klaar staat en alles straks vlot kan verlopen, oftewel via de Mentimeter website te gaan en de code in te geven die jullie op het scherm vinden. Dus ik zal jullie 1 minuutje geven om dat al in orde te brengen en dan gaan we verder met de agenda. Yes, dus hopelijk is dat in orde. Als het nog niet in orde is, de QR-code komt verder in de presentatie ook nog terug, moest het nog niet gelukt zijn. Dan de agenda van vandaag. Ik heb net welkom gedaan en dan gaat José van ITEC het Reconstruct-project kort voorstellen. Gevolgd door de 4 key topics van het project, elk door enkele van de partners gepresenteerd. Daarna zullen we dieper ingaan op wat dat stakeholder engagement binnen het project betekent, welke activiteiten, type engagement, de learning agenda wordt voorgesteld. En dan zal ook het online stakeholder platform voorgesteld worden. En krijgen jullie de mogelijkheid om jullie te registreren voor het project als stakeholder. En op het einde eindigen dus mijn Q&A als er vragen zijn. Dus ik laat nu, I'll leave the floor to José to present the project. You're still muted, José.
Yes, I'm muted. Thank you all for coming. I'll be doing a small sneak peek of what the project is about in hopefully 5 minutes. So I'm sure you will have questions. I'm sure you will be interested in the project. So later on, you can ask any questions in the Q&A section, or even contact any of us in the consortium to give you more information. The project is a EU-funded project that aims to achieve circularity in the construction sector through some solutions that we are implementing in the project. One of them is develop low-carbon alternative to cement and steel, manufacture construction components that use recycled materials and are designed for modularity and for disassembly and adaptability, and embed the deconstruction principles in the building design. With this circular approach, throughout the whole value chain, we will use different technologies and different methodologies in the digitalization that will be regionalized and tailor-made for the different policies, recommendations, or regulation standards in both of the cluster hotspots. In this project itself, there's 2 real-scale pilot buildings, one in Brussels and one in Barcelona, that will demonstrate all the impact potential and economic feasibility of all the technologies and solutions that today my colleagues will also explain in the next slides. One of the main objectives of the project is to try to give solutions to some barriers. There's a list here that I'm sure a lot of you will agree on, but I'm sure there's also missing barriers here. Some of them may be the lack of awareness of how circularity or how these materials with high content of recycled works, high initial cost, fragmented supply chains, lack of standardization for reused materials, for example, or technological challenges to share information between different peers of the stakeholder value chain. The strategies used in the project are the material innovation, the design for the construction, and the digitalization of the different parts of the project. In the material innovation, we are replacing the ordinary Portland cement with a low carbon solution that my colleagues will explain you more about in the focus groups. Replacing steel bars in concrete with textile or bio-based reinforcement, and manufacturing concrete components incorporating recycled materials. In the design for the construction, we are integrating different the construction processes for the design of the architectural demos itself. We are developing different kits to be dismantleable and to ensure that the concept of dismantleability and adaptability are met in these demo cases, and ensure that the demolition sends all the waste to recycling paths and or reuse the components. In the aspect of the digitalization, we are using different methodologies and AI-based technologies to track and find the materials sourcing, in this case, waste from construction sites and waste facilities. Tracking and tracing these products with digital product passports, blockchain, and the digital twin in BIM, and marketplaces to reclaim materials and explore reused and recycled channels for those materials that will get dismantled in the demo cases. As you could see, the project acts in the whole value chain, from the waste sourcing till the loop closing, going through the material manufacturing, digitalization, and construction. All of it will be assessed with the different pillars of sustainability, circularity, symbiosis, but also LCA, LCC, and social assessment that will ensure that the project is tracked and assessed, that any of these solutions could have a major impact in others and we don't know about. How are you going to do it? We are 16 partners in the project. Some of them are construction companies, some of them are manufacturers, but also there's academia, public administration, and technological and software suppliers. So the whole value chain is represented in this consortium. Hopefully with this connection with you, we will have more agents and more actors in this value chain. As I said, there's 2 real scale demos, one in Barcelona and one in Brussels, that I will go through very slightly in the next slides, that will demonstrate these methodologies and these technologies in those 2 different regional situations. And also for what we are today here, 2 different regional clusters, one in Brussels and one in Barcelona, that will create and co-create different activities and co-validate different results. So all the results expected from the project are validated by the consortium and the different actors of the value chain. Talking about the demos, very slightly, there's a demo case in Barcelona that will be in the land of Incasol, that it's a public organization there. This demo case will be simulating a residential building, but a very small one. This is 40 square meters. With all the principles that I was talking about, dismantling with different materials, with alternative of concrete and cement, that will be dismantled or repurposed for future demos. And then we have the Brussels demo in Green Energy Park, where the simulation will be an office. In this case, this building will be kept there and be used for that purpose. The Barcelona demo site will be dismantled to ensure that the circularity of those products are as expected in the design phase. Just to finalize, the expected impacts of the project to the construction sector are the reduction of the CO2, embodied CO2 of the buildings, reduction of the waste construction waste, lower as much as we can the non-renewable content, increase the recycled content. This is two objectives that go hand in hand, and close the loop with the construction demolition waste and send as much as possible to recycling and avoid the landfill. In the replication activities, and that will be my last slide, we will report our approach in social innovation and circular construction. We will discuss also different circular business models with you during these clustering activities and these hub activities. And with all that information, we will also create some policy recommendations and some guidelines at a regional level, national level, and a European level for everybody to have the knowledge gathered here and be able to replicate it in the different regions and different cities. And on top of that, we will provide a platform where everybody in the hub will be able to talk between each other, but will also be the platform where we will transfer that knowledge to you. We will send you all the information, and we will post them also some training modules for you to use and to have. That would be a nutshell of the project. I will leave the floor to Eric and Alvaro to talk about the different focus groups, the hub. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is Eric Megners. I'm a part of the BUB group that is working in this project, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the alkali activated cement-based concrete and its applications that we are envisioning in this project. And then later, my colleague Alvaro is going to talk a little bit about the demolition waste assessment that we are thinking in the frame of this project. Right. So we will start with the circular alkali activated concrete. The main objectives of this section of the project consist on reducing the carbon footprint of the cement production by developing alternative to ordinary Portland cement, where alkali activated cement is produced using the industry byproducts and wastes. These new materials will be used to build modular prefab and on-site structures where the amount of concrete needed for the production and the carbon footprint is reduced by the end of the life cycle. And also, as part of this work, a tool will be developed to identify materials for the construction and demolition waste using hyperspectral imaging techniques that my colleague Alvaro is then later going to explain a little more in detail in the presentation. And then using this information, an artificial intelligence will be trained to quantify the viable materials, facilitating their reuse and recycling once the building reaches the end of the life cycle. The developments of the carbon footprint cement and its different applications. We are going to, the British University of Brussels, the Polytechnic University de la Marche in Italy, and the Technologic Center of Construction, Citicon in Spain, are working on the development of alkali activated cement that consists of using products of waste from the industry as precursor materials like fly ash, slag, among others. And then adding a combination with special activator, that product to produce this alternative to ordinary Portland cement. This paste created then can be then mixed with alkali activated, with sand and with gravel to produce a concrete. This material is going to be used in different applications in the frame of the project. And two regional pilots are developed, as mentioned before by Jose Carlos. These regional projects are going to be one in Spain and the other one in Belgium. The Spanish demo will consist of a one-story building design for residential use, where the Kali activated cement paste is going to be used to build on-site and off-site production of structural and non-structural elements during the construction. The facade elements will be modular and detachable, allowing for easy reuse and substitution. While the remaining elements are going to be recycled at the end of the lifetime. So at the end of the lifetime. While the focus of the Belgian demo is, on the other hand, is going to be constructed for office purposes, using sandwich panels for the facades, the roof, and the floors. The innovative part of this demo is going to be the development of a textile reinforced concrete floor system. And all the structural elements in the Belgian demo are designed to be reused once the life cycle of the construction is finished. Yeah. So the alkali activated cement developed by the for the Spanish project has a very low carbon footprint as the materials are from local sources. The virgin amount of content in the material is very low, with less than 50% of the volume of the final product. And the lifespan of the sign is considered to be 250 years, which is going to be very durable. Once the life cycle ends, 80% of the materials used in the construction of the elements are going to be recycled to produce new materials. Let's go to the next one. Okay. The elements produced with these materials are going to be the slab foundation, the main structure, the facade panels, and the exterior pavement blocks. And as I mentioned before, the facade panels are going to be modular and detachable. They will have they are going to be designed to be with a wind load of up to 5-story floors, so that once they are detachable from the main building, they can be used in several other constructions around the Brussels, the Barcelona region. The connections that are designed for these facade panels allow them to be disassembled individually, so that means that the facade panels are not on top of each other, so that they can be removed one at a time. To prove this concept, in the first stage, the Spanish demo is going to be built in a full size, and 1 year later, this size is going to be reduced by taking 2 lateral panels, as shown in the picture in the middle, and these panels are going to be used for in another construction in the local area. And at the end of the life cycle, the whole construction of the demo is going to be taken out from the site, and it's going to be used for future buildings in the area. Then for the Belgian demo, which is going to be built in Brussels, the facades and the roof will be made of sandwich panels that had a fiber reinforced polymer that has a bio-based matrix on the outside faces, and a central core of PET foam made entirely from recycled PET bottles, in the central core. This system is based on the cubic system of Holland composite that has already been proved for buildings of 1 story high. But in order to increase its applicability to multi-story heights, a textile reinforced concrete sandwich panel, or TRC, is going to be developed for the intermediate floors. This TRC consists on 2 faces that have very thin concrete faces from 2 centimeters or less, that are joined together with the central core. In this case, it's going to be PET foam for the first stage. This allows the system to be a super lightweight system that has around 120 kilograms per square meter, which is way less than traditional systems. On a first stage of the demo, the sandwich panels are going to the TRC sandwich panels are going to be produced using commercially viable materials. for the concrete, and also for the PET foam is going to be the same one as used for the facade panels on the roof. The panels had a span of 3.4 meters and a width of 1.70 meters. But in the second stage, these panels are going to be these materials are going to be substituted by the alkali activated cement for the TRC faces, and the central core is going to be substituted by a combination of glass bricks with the alkali activated cement to produce a kind of a foam spoon that is going to be used as a central core. One panel is going to be produced using these materials, and it's going to be substituting one of the original panels on the Brussels demo to prove the circularity and the modularity of the concept, and also to test in a real scale application the new materials developed in the project. And then I will leave the floor for my partner Alvaro, so that he can talk a little bit more about the quantification of the concrete and demolition waste.
Right, so thank you, Eric. So I'm Alvaro from Symbiocy. So in parallel to the two pilots that Eric just mentioned, we are also developing other tasks, such as the developing of a artificial intelligence model for quantifying the construction and demolition waste just by using images. This is performed by Brunel University in London. So basically, several cameras and drone images have been taken from two sites in Barcelona, one at Comsa, the company Comsa, where there is a camera installed over the waste area, where we have several fractions such as wood, metals, plastic, cardboard and paper, and glass. And on the other hand, we also have cameras installed at the entrance of a construction waste management plant from Sorigué, where the camera points at the trucks while they are being scaled. So the model will interpret all these images, and using grounding dyno and segment and anything models, they are going to be able to detect and train the artificial intelligence so that they can detect the amount, which kind of waste is present in that image. And through regression learning approach and other methods, together with the log files from these two sites, we'll be able to assess the amount of each construction demolition waste that is on each image. Together with that, and more in depth into this topic, both the Polytechnic University of La Marche and Aries Technologies are using hyperspectral imaging techniques to detect which kind of material is present in the demolition waste. So for that, I won't go very deep into how the hyperspectral technology works, but to give a broad overview. So basically, they are taking lab and on-site images, and what you get from an hyperspectral image is that on each pixel represents a wave in the spectrum that comes from the infrared to the ultraviolet. So for certain examples of waste that have been selected from these two sites, they are taking these images in order to create a spectral library. So once you have the wavelength of the element that you're analyzing, you can detect which elements are inside this spectrum, whether it's gypsum or it has some kind of metal, wood, etc. So they are also using several material class recognition techniques such as SAM, CNN, MLP, and so on, so that they can create this spectral library and know more about the materials present on each element analyzed. And lastly, at Symbiocy, we are trying to figure out the valorization routes for these construction and demolition wastes, and also find out local sources for input materials for the concretes that are being developed in this project. So as I already mentioned, we have two sites where we are gathering data from Surrogate. We get mixed waste aggregates, and then after the analysis of all this data using the artificial intelligence, we will try to make a matchmaking with companies which are in the surrounding area of this construction and demolition waste management plant, so that they can use these recycled aggregates in future construction sites. At the same time, with all the ingredients or all the elements that will compose these alkali activated cements that Eric mentioned, such as fly ash, biomass ash, or recycled aggregates, we will try also to find out local providers for these materials. On the other hand, at COMSA site, we have segregated waste that is going to be analyzed, and its suitability for recyclability will be determined, so that we can then make a matchmaking with the waste treatment plants that are also in the area. So in the end, with all this information, we will also add some criteria for ranking the optimal routes for valorization, and we will have in mind, well, we'll take into account things such as the price, the demand, or the logistics and distances for transporting these materials, and then we will get a decision support tool that will guide us through all the options that we have on the table. And lastly, we also have a very ambitious KPI, that is to send like 0% of waste to the landfill. So in the Barcelona demo in particular, nothing will be sent to landfill, not during the construction, neither when the floor plan is going to be reduced, and not even in the phase of the construction of the demo. Therefore, firstly, we will try to reuse all the elements, meaning the panels and the floors. And whenever this is not possible, we will go for recycling this, following the waste hierarchy of the Waste Framework Directive. And on the right-hand side, you can see what is the vision that we see for each of the elements that we are going to be using during this pilot. And regarding the one in Brussels, since it is a technological construction, so nothing is built on site, so it's just it's done in the factory itself. We have been told that they will also ensure that all the wastes or byproducts produced during the project will be reused or recycled within their processes. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much. And now you have a Mentimeter to start asking ranking some of the proposals that we have discussed.
Yeah, so we prepared for you on this topic 8 questions that we ask ourselves on this topic, and that are based on the state of the art that we have explored in the past few months. We would ask you to log into the Mentimeter again, and what we are interested in is to see how you would rank these learning questions. Which ones are the most important for your practice, and which ones are less. Yasmin, maybe in a few minutes you can show what the results are giving us. Take your time to read them through. They're a bit long. But as a first step to get your inputs in this project, this would be a small exercise to get a feel of what resonates most with you in your day-to-day work.
So we can see here, no, that the material qualified to be certified as a secondary waste material is very important. No, this prioritize over the other questions. This is something that we expected. Also, for example, the last one is how to develop more efficient methods to source and use geopolymer precursors. This is less prioritized for the audience.
It is also interesting to see that the second one is still connected to the first one because it's assess the quality in a non-destructive way of concrete. And so this topic is definitely one of the most interesting.
It's part of reuse, no, and secondary waste materials.
Exactly.
That now it's indeed like trying to be implemented in the directive, no, of the European policies, but it's still not so defined. That's why maybe the people, no, is asking themselves and having questions about how to do it. Well, I think we have a lot of questions, very interesting results. We will send you the results for you to know the opinion of all the other audience. And we will work from that in our focus groups. So thank you for answering. Maybe it's time to pass to the next presentation.
On it.
Yes. So I think, yes, I have the control of the presentation. Hello, everyone. I'm Tommaso Giomi from ITEC, and with Laura Reus from Società Organica, we will talk about the digitalization process that we have inside the Reconstruct and how we are trying to assess the impact of a building. Why we are talking about digitalization? We are trying to digitalize all the value chain, all the process inside the project, in order to enhance the exchange of information between different stakeholders and different platforms. In this way, making it easier to sharing the information, it will be also easier for us to assess the impact, the global impact of the project, because we will need many information to do that. So in a digitalization way, we can make it easier at the end of the process. We will use 3 basic tools to start, and then we will create various assessments that Laura will explain better later. But to start at the product level, we will start using the digital product passport, which is a digital tool at the product level that gives us the possibility to trace the data from the beginning, from the manufacturing to the end of the life cycle, and it make them easier to share them. At a building level, we will create a building material passport with this tool with a deep focus on the material used inside the building and the circularity that they can have. And everything will be based on a digital twin, a BIM model with six dimension, dynamic, and optimized also with AI. So how it is the situation right now, the current status of these tools that we want to use. The digital product passport, it is thought as a tool focused on the first part of the design phases, the production, the manufacturing, and also the construction. Here is where we have to add information in this report, in this tool, but the information need to be available and be updated throughout all the life cycle in order to make it available to other stakeholders. In a similar way, but in an opposite way, the building material passport, it is focused more at the end of life and in the next use phase of a building or the element inside the building, but it has to have information from the previous phase of the life cycle. It would be the best solution would be to involve the design from the design phase, and we will need an interface and exchange connection between them that in our project is the BIM model. Both of them could be part of a broader folder, of a broader digital folder, to where we can have all the information of a building that is the digital building logbook. So the digital product passport is a digital tool that collects and shares detailed information about the product lifecycle, from the identifier of the single product or the operator, that could be the producer, or the facility where it is produced. And then it has declaration of performance and conformity, so detail on how the product is going to perform, going to be used. And beyond that, it has the availability to store the sustainability data, so life cycle of the product, environmental impact. This information can be stored inside the digital product passport, and as the digital product passport is a sharing tool, is a tool taught in a way that it can be easily shared with different stakeholders, it gives us the possibility to enhance the traceability and the transparency of all the information of the product, because in every time of the life cycle of the project, we can, with different platforms, we can share the information and we can read it. At the building level, the building material passport is still a digital record, but provides information about the material that it used in the building, the type of the material or the quantity of the material that it is used inside the building. And it gives information on in which element this material is used. Let's imagine a steel beam. It gives you the information of the total beam of the building, but also it says that this amount of steel is in the beams of the building. And of the elements and of the material, it gives circularity indicators, the potential of circularity that this material has with different pathways. All this information is structured inside building layers. This amount of material is in the foundation. The structure is composed by this one and this material. So it has to be created, the structure of building layers, in order to organize this information. And this is something that we are studying, and we want to have your feedback about behind many other topics on that. So the purpose of the material passport is the reuse and the recycle and the circularity of the materials of the building. These are information that need to be stored until the end of the life phase, but it has to be produced at best, it will be during the design phase, because it's easier to have this information, and it has to be updated throughout the construction and the use phase in order to arrive at the end of life phase with the best quality of information possible. So to do that, we are going to create a digital environment that will start with the digital product passport from the materials that are composing the elements of the building. The material product passport could be included in the digital product passport of the element, and every piece of them, it will enrich the BIM model that will be used as a baseline in order to create the material passport, but also the other assessment that will give us information about the building that Laura is going to explain right now.
Thanks, Tommaso. So we are going to continue with the assessment. As my previous colleague has advanced in the previous slide, we are going to assess 5 assessments. And we are going to consider the 3 aspects of the sustainability, that the sustainability takes into account this part of economical part that is implemented by the LCC, then the social aspect with the LCA, and the environmental aspect that is assessed by the LCA, but also by the circularity and symbiosis potential, as there is not a methodology exact for assess the circularity. We are going to talk about inside the hub about this concept, how the methodology would be, how the results or outputs could indicate the circularity of our buildings and also material level, product level, sorry. And all this we are going to consider it, of course, in the different stages of the LCA, in the extraction and manufacturing, the construction, also a little of renovation. In the case of the Belgian demo, it would be a little renovation, and in the case of the Barcelona one would be this change of envelope that Alvaro and Eric was showing in the presentation of circular concrete and construction demolition waste, that it was a little of reducing the surface and changing the panels. So we'll try also that. We will measure that, sorry. And then for sure, we are going to take into account this stage that is very important in this project, the construction and waste management, where we are going to dedicate a lot of time to talk about it with you. So how you are going to be included in this process. So in all assessment process, we have to take some inputs, then to calculate and through different methodologies, have some outputs, or outcomes indicators to have this assessment. So, for example, inside the hub, we will talk with you about validate the inputs that we are taking into account for the assessment, or maybe ask you for some inputs in this assessment that we are maybe not taking into account in the Brussels context. Also, the data origin of these inputs, we'll talk about it. And then this is our examples, because for sure during the project we'll go through more, and for you for sure you are going to ask us to take into account another debates inside the focus groups, but also we'll talk in this part of inputs in how to get them efficiently from the developed digital system that was explaining Tommaso, depending on the life cycle stage, because we all know that depending on the life cycle stage will be more easy or difficult to get some inputs to do the assessment. Then in the part of outputs, we'll talk with you about if the results that are or outcomes that we are considering are relevant and useful to you, to the different stakeholders in the construction sector. By type. Also, as I was advancing before, we are going to define this concept of circularity at different levels, component levels and building level. What we are meaning with that, what are the methodologies to assess this, which are the outputs we want to consider here to say that it's circularity. Then I will explain more, but we are going to consider a lot of indicators, or we are going to weighten a lot of different indicators to have a unique indicator to say that this is circular or not. And then by the hand of symbiosis, we are going to discover what is the symbiosis potential concept and its usefulness at the industrial level, but also we are going to try to translate with all these strategies that we have for reusing in other commercial projects or marketplaces, we are going to take into account also in the construction sector. For sure, during this assessment, always there are transversal debates or related debates that cannot be that is going to appear, when we are going to do the assessment. That are the barriers that we are discovering and the ways to overcome them, the policies that are related with that, and maybe sometimes are barriers too, or not, or facilitators, and then about the business model as usual now. For the assessment, in the case of LCA and LCC, we are going to base in the iTech database, that is the coordinator and partner, of course, of the Reconstruct project, and their software that have developed TCQI GMA. That is a Spanish, important, relevant Spanish software with a lot of the sector were implemented in the national in Spain. The software for sure have to be connected with the digital tool, digital twin that we are creating. So this would be also an issue to debate how to do it, how there are the difficulties, etc. And then in the case of circularity, some of the characteristics or indicators of the circularity assessment that we are thinking, advancing before our debates will be taken from the BIM digital model, the materials passport that was Tommaso saying before, but also from the, as we are implementing a pilot, also we are going to test some of the characteristics to compare with another databases that we can find. Also, for example, for waste and maintenance, the database of ITEC, they have already data with that. So we are going to implement it with this database, and we are going to compare also with the actual data that we are testing in Reconstruct, and also with the level estimations to know that is always important to know if the estimations, how the derivation from the estimations are, when you are implementing a real pilot. And then, for example, in the case of adaptability, we have in Spain some tools, but for sure we are going to ask you in Belgium which tools you have. To compare with the Spanish one and to adapt to the local context, we have this tool that is talk about adaptability, and also levels through DGNB is talking about that. We're going to debate if this is correct, if we are not these tools are not taking into account some indicators that maybe are essential. And of course, we are going to talk about the material circular indicators developed by Ellen MacArthur. That is like trying this indicator try to compile all the indicators now to define what is circularity. And in symbiosis potential, we are going from hypothetical potential of the construction demolition materials using the construct, and through testings like trying to be introduced in construction, in other construction process or industrial process and marketplaces. We are going to determine finally the potential for symbiosis for each material of interest. Also, we are going to, in a level of more research than the demo level, we're going to try to find new uses for the materials and technology to make them fit for new purposes, the price, the marketplaces that we can find, etc. And finally, I was advancing this before. For example, for the circularity assessment, we have detected some indicators like these ones that are relevant for different stages of the LCA. And we are going to debate about if it's better to have one indicator, waiting all these considered, or maybe it's important to have different indicators to define this concept of circularity. So thank you, everyone. And now we also have this Mentimeter code for the next, there was like 2 packs of questions. Now you have to enter for answer the second pack of questions were related with this topic. And I'm going to leave this 1 minute to you to scan in the case that you haven't entered. And then Jasmine will share the results as we have made before. There are long questions, as
If
Jerome
everyone's
said.
candid,
So,
I will share the results
okay.
since still a work in progress.
Okay, we wait for them to read the long questions that are not easy to think in 5 minutes. But this is a first exercise. It's not this type of things we will be debating with more time inside the hub, but to have first input.
I think I can show you that the least preferred question and the first preferred questions remain the same in the first one, the first round. So there are strong opinion about it. And now let's see if something is coming. Yeah.
So Tommaso, if you want to start commenting more or less, no? Like the
I was trying to answer
Okay.
on the Mentimeter, but I don't know,
Okay.
my page refresh and I've lost all my classification, so I'll just read the other
Now
ones.
you can say if you are agree with the answers.
Yeah, I
in the
totally
group.
agree. I totally agree. No, but it's really interesting that that exchange format is on top. I didn't think about it. I didn't expect it, but yeah, no, it's not on top, but still one of the top ones. Yeah, but still the first one is something related, at least, because the framework that can be used to define the material and building performance is something that it's something that we were expecting. Let's be to be honest. Yeah, also the second one is second and third one, to build a reliable system to source and integrate circular and second-hand construction elements early in design stage. To me, it's one of the top one, maybe because I'm an architect and I see these problems more often.
Then we are having this how to track that is very related with the first questions about the second the related with reused material and second-hand waste. That is how to track and verify the quality and origin of reused material. This is I think it's as I said before, a very nowadays topic, I think, and I can be related with that.
Yeah, very connected to the digital passport too, and it is good that it's interesting for stakeholders because it's something that we are working on.
And that we are going
that
we are going to debate, I mean, like in this part of circularity. So it's good that they are interested.
Of course. So we have 11 answers, 12 with mine that it will come after that. I think we can leave the Mentimeter open and have a look on it after Jose Lucas and Jeroen presentations.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
Just a note, if any of you have a question, you can find a QR button on the top of your Teams. You can write down all the questions that you have in there, and we will have a look at it at the end of the presentations.
Okay, thank you, Tommaso. Thank you, Laura. I'll go through the third focus group. This will be a very quick presentation because basically all that it's being discussed in the previous two ones will somehow, some sort, will follow the policies, or we'll need to discuss some policies regarding that. So I'll start at the end, the objective. Basically, one of the main objectives of this discussion group is to create policy recommendations that could overcome those barriers that the focus groups are finding out, or even that the project has some already scheduled barriers or detected barriers that we will be able to discuss on how to overcome them, how we can facilitate the transition from a linear construction to a circular one. In this case, we will use the demonstrators and the social innovation activities to generate that information. And we will make sure to create those policy recommendations at a regional level, national level, and obviously European level. Basically, for you to be aware, this is replicated in Barcelona as well, in the other demos case. So all the conclusions or different solutions that we may arrive for those barriers will also be shared to see if they can be replicable in the different regions and different countries in the European Union. Following that, we can see that a visual representation of the transversal focus group, that is the policies, as as well will be the business models that will use the information from both of those focus groups of digitalization and impact assessment and circular concrete and construction demolition waste that we heard in the previous two presentations. And with that information, plus the information that we will have from your experiences in different regions or your experiences in different construction circular initiatives or whatever, we will use that information to promote new policies and create studies to overcome those barriers to make sure that there's no restrictions to the implementation and replicability of the solutions. Obviously, this is not something new. This is something that already is being analyzed by the market, being the case of the BIM plans or in the green public procurement, or even the digital twins and the blockchain. So these are the things that will be discussed in the focus group to make sure that we touch everything that we can to create recommendations to overcome, again, all those barriers to make sure that everything that is more technical in the previous focus groups can be put into practice in other projects or in other demo cases or the regions. In that sense, we will analyze both of the hubs, the Barcelona hub and the Brussels hub. Obviously, the discussions in each hub will be different because the regional situation are completely different, or some of them will be very similar at the European level, but obviously there's local and regional specifications that have to be met. So the answer to the question may differ, but the barrier most likely will be the same. So all of that will be analyzed, and specific recommendations and adaptations will be made to make sure that the policy recommendations that we are drafting in the project are suitable not only for these two hubs, but also for replication activities in other possible hubs or in other possible demo cases in other countries. What are the different instruments, or what are the key policy instruments that we could use as a point of discussion? We may have regulatory instruments. That obviously is the first thing that comes to mind when we think of policies, building codes, regulations, structural law, those kind of stuff that could inform, for example, if a reused pillar can be used in a construction or not. Also economic instruments, maybe taxation, fees, subsidies and grants will be also some interesting points of view on how to promote and how to facilitate that those barriers are overcome. In trading schemes for the CO2, for example, would be something connected to the LCA in the previous focus group, and also other informational instruments that may attack to the barriers regarding the lacking of awareness or the lacking of knowledge, creating different training modules, different education that will be provided to you and will be public for dissemination and training purposes, so we can facilitate the transition in knowledge from the linear construction to the circular construction. Other voluntary instruments may be industry agreements, green public procurement using these regulatory or policy recommendations, or even regulatory sandboxes that may be offered by peers or stakeholders that may have the possibility to pilot some of these recommendations. So as a summary, the policy focus group will feed from the other two. So we will be able to gather all that information and see how we can, that technical or more empirical information that we get from both of them, how we can create policy recommendations, how we can create different strategies to make sure that the transition to those technologies or to those innovations could be more easily done. And that would be my intervention. So I will leave the floor to Jeroen to talk about business models.
Dank u wel, José. Ik zal voor de verandering eens in het Nederlands babbelen, want mijn presentatie is in het Nederlands. Er zijn ook Nederlandstalige onderzoekers in dit onderzoek en Reconstruct. Ja, even controle overpakken. Voilà. Business models. Ja. Business models en policies zijn 2 taken in dit project die ons toelaten om los van de zeer technische innovaties waar we naar kijken voor beton en voor het digitale ecosysteem, om ook eens wat breder te kijken naar andere barrières die kunnen maken dat we die nieuwe circulaire oplossingen alsnog niet in de markt gezet krijgen. We weten dat ook op grotere schaal in de markt dat we dat probleem wel eens tegenkomen. En we weten dus ondertussen dat met productinnovatie alleen dat we er heel vaak niet gaan komen. Iedereen heeft al ooit een project gedaan waarin dat je een voorstel doet voor een circulaire oplossing en uiteindelijk wordt het dan toch niet gebouwd. Ja, waar ligt dat dan aan? Dat kan zijn dat die nieuwe oplossing meer geld kost. Het kan zijn dat er gewoon geen tijd is in de timing van het project om effectief te gaan experimenteren. Maar vaak kan het ook zijn dat er gewoon niet genoeg vertrouwen is tussen de verschillende actoren die betrokken zijn. En dat er op die manier dat niemand bereid is om het risico op zich te nemen om iets nieuws te doen. Dus we zien dat er naast die technische aspecten heel andere factoren zijn die meespelen. Dat kan commercieel zijn, dat kan organisatorisch zijn. Dat kan de organisatie van de waardeketen zijn, waarin dan nieuwe dingen moeten gebeuren, nieuwe rollen ontstaan. En er is zeker ook een link met wat dat het beleidsmatige kader is dat daar rond zit vandaag. Dat wil zeggen dat we in die 2 taken rond policies en business models een beetje ruimte hebben om een stap achteruit te nemen en daar wat systemischer naar te gaan kijken. We gaan dat toepassen natuurlijk op de focus beton en digitale ecosystemen. En ik neem er graag de 6 dimensies van het bouwen bij, die de meesten van jullie wel kennen, denk ik, uit de BIM-context, om een aantal aspecten tastbaar te maken die meespelen in onze beslissingen, zowel in de ontwerpfase als in de uitvoeringsfase. De eerste 3 dimensies zijn geometrie. Dat is het technische aspect, waarvan ik net zeg dat dat eigenlijk niet voldoende zal zijn, heel vaak. Site en programma zijn daar zeer sturend in. Daar komen een aantal bouwtechnische vereistes uit. We gaan een bouwsysteem kiezen, we gaan een bepaalde materialiteit kiezen en we gaan onze architectuur gaan maken. Ja. Nu, op papier kan dat er allemaal goed uitzien, maar heel vaak zien we dat dat dus dan toch geen groen licht krijgt, wat we voorstellen. En dat ligt misschien ook aan een aantal andere aspecten. Eén daarvan is de logistiek. Afhankelijk van de oplossing die we gaan gebruiken, verandert er ook wel echt iets in de manier van bouwen. Dat kan zijn een langere of kortere bouwtijd. Dat kan zijn de complexiteit van de werf die groter of kleiner wordt, met meer mensen in de toeleveringsketen, waarmee dat we al dan niet vertrouwd zijn om te werken. De maatvastheid zal verschillend zijn als we on- of off-site bijvoorbeeld gaan produceren. En aan elk van die deelaspecten zijn een aantal risico's verbonden die mensen al dan niet bereid zijn om te nemen. Kost is natuurlijk zonder twijfel een van de grote factoren. We gaan niet alleen kijken naar de kost van het materiaal en de arbeid, maar we gaan ook even zien wat is de levensduur nu van die materialen, hoe robuust zijn die, welke onderhoudskost staat daar tegenover als we andere oplossingen kiezen. En op het einde van de levensduur kunnen we ook aspecten rond de kost voor ontmanteling en mogelijke restwaardes van materialen en componenten gaan bekijken. We zien ondertussen ook dat het financiële model van de klant heel belangrijk kan zijn. We weten dat een promotor bijvoorbeeld moeilijk in een product-as-a-service model gaat stappen, omdat hun manier van waardeberekening daar eigenlijk niet op gemaakt is. Dus ook daar hangt het een beetje af van de context en welke klanten we voor ons hebben, welke oplossingen dat we naar voren kunnen schuiven. En de laatste dimensie, de 6D, is die van duurzaamheid. Klassiek vooral energie-efficiëntie geweest de voorbije jaren, maar nu sinds enkele jaren toch ook wel heel duidelijk op materiaalimpact geschoeid. met de 4 circulaire strategieën die we ondertussen denk ik wel allemaal van buiten kennen. Hergebruik, ruimtelijke aanpasbaarheid, demonteerbaarheid en de milieu-impact. Aspecten die bijvoorbeeld ook in GRO eind dit jaar gaan terugkomen in de nieuwe versie. En waar dat we analyses kunnen maken wat dat dan de impact is van nieuwe alternatieven. Wat gaan we rond die aspecten doen in Reconstruct? We zijn een universiteit, dus in de eerste plaats gaan we daarop studeren. We gaan de literatuur doornemen en kijken of dat we voorbeelden vinden in binnen- en buitenland, waarin dat elk van die aspecten gedocumenteerd zijn, om te zien waarom dat iets wel of niet uiteindelijk uitgevoerd geweest is. We zijn daar niet in alleen. We zijn ons heel bewust van dat ook andere partijen in onze regio daar best wel al wat onderzoek rond gedaan hebben. Dus we gaan daar ook contacten over leggen en zien waarop dat we verder kunnen bouwen, samen met hen. Maar er is ook ruimte om binnen Reconstruct en binnen deze taak met enkele van jullie te experimenteren en te kijken of dat we binnen een van jullie projecten dus een analyse kunnen doen op die verschillende aspecten. En kunnen zien hoe dat we jullie kunnen ondersteunen in de beslissingen die jullie vandaag in het ontwerp of in de uitvoering nog gaan maken om met nieuwe circulaire oplossingen aan de slag te gaan. Van onze kant uit is onze expertise vooral die 3D en die 6D. De technische oplossingen aanreiken, helpen verfijnen en de milieu-impact ook daarvan gaan bekijken op verschillende circulaire strategieën. Waarom kijken we naar jullie? We kijken vooral naar jullie om ons meer inzicht te geven in kost, in calculaties. Wat is de impact als we van één oplossing naar de andere zouden gaan? En ook wat dat de impact is op jullie logistiek. Dat zijn voor ons factoren die minder zichtbaar zijn en die we eigenlijk wel eens boven water willen krijgen met dit project, zodat andere mensen daaruit ook kunnen leren. Bij voorkeur dus bij projecten waarin dat we nog een nuttige inbreng kunnen hebben, waarin dat er nog belangrijke beslissingen genomen moeten worden, die wij kunnen ondersteunen vanuit deze analyses. En ik ga een drietal type cases geven die mogelijk zouden kunnen zijn, maar er zijn er minstens dubbel zoveel, denk ik, moest ik meer tijd hebben. Eén is behoud versus sloop. Ik zet die als eerste omdat we in de context van het Brusselse gewest dat wel bijzonder relevant is vandaag. We hebben 350.000 vierkante meter aan vrije kantoorruimte, omdat Europa de helft van zijn kantoorpark op de markt heeft gezet. Er is ook een heel duidelijke marsrichting in Brussel om van behoud de nieuwe praktijk te maken en van sloop de uitzondering. Dus in die zin zijn dat zeker cases die denk ik voor velen relevant kunnen zijn. Een tweede case is voorbeeldcase zou die van Top-Up kunnen zijn in Amsterdam. Een project van Tromp Franse, waarin we vooral ingezet hebben op ruimtelijke aanpasbaarheid en op demonteerbaarheid. Daar is in plaats van in situ gestort beton, is daar prefab beton gebruikt voor de vloerelementen. Die zijn ook vlak, zodat de installaties gemakkelijk door kunnen. En die zijn op een droge manier opgelegd op de kolommen. In dit geval zijn ze van hout. Dat zijn stalen verbindingsstukken die eigenlijk toelaten om op het einde van de levensduur het gebouw ook terug uit elkaar te halen als een mikkel. Versnelt ook het bouwproces. Elk niveau van dit gebouw is in 3,5 dag gebouwd. Dus dat is best wel snel. En heeft ook als voordeel dat door het gebruik van kolommen in plaats van structurele betonwanden tussen de appartementen, dat we eigenlijk een vrij plan hebben en dat we appartementen gemakkelijk kunnen splitsen of kunnen samenvoegen in de toekomst, wat dan in de praktijk ook al meerdere keren gebeurd is in dit gebouw. Dus in dit geval zijn de gemeenschappelijke muren, één daarvan zie je van achter in beeld, zijn die niet gemaakt van beton en silicaatsteen, maar zijn die wel gemaakt van een metalstud die ontkoppeld is omwille van de akoestiek. Maar die kunnen heel gemakkelijk weggenomen worden en dat laat toe om de ruimtes verschillend in te delen. Jullie zullen waarschijnlijk ook al wel gezien hebben dat die vloer er wat anders uitziet dan onze klassieke chappen thuis. Hier hebben ze gewerkt met een vloeropbouw, een soort technische vloer. Lijkt heel erg op een buitenterrasaanleg met voetjes. In dit gebouw is het mogelijk om eigenlijk binnen elk appartement gelijkwaar het sanitair bijvoorbeeld te gaan voorzien. Het is heel eenvoudig om dat opnieuw anders in te richten. We gaan weliswaar een aantal toplagen of afwerkingslagen moeten weghalen, maar eigenlijk al de rest is droog en kunnen we volledig anders gaan leggen. En een laatste voorbeeldje is de brandtrap in Zonnepoort. Er zijn wel meer dergelijke experimenten vandaag, waarin dat universiteiten of kenniscentra mee aan tafel zitten om alternatieve betonmengsels voor te stellen en die ook uit te proberen in de praktijk. In dit geval is er ook een prefab-methode gekozen. Dus ook dat soort van cases zijn zeker voor ons interessant. Het blijft een proces waarin dat je een projectbeton moet definiëren, waarin dat je anders gaat voorschrijven, waarin dat je een aantal testen moet laten doen voordat je effectief kan gaan bouwen. En het verschil met de dagelijkse praktijk is in die zin ook wel interessant om te zien hoe dat we dat kunnen versnellen. Voilà. Dus dat zijn type cases waar dat we naar kijken, maar jullie hebben waarschijnlijk nog andere in gedachten. De boodschap die ik nog wil meegeven is, kijk, als jullie geïnteresseerd zijn om van ons ondersteuning te krijgen in jullie project op die aspecten, stuur ons gerust een berichtje en dan gaan we samen met jullie mee aan de slag. Dank u.
So thank you, Jeroen. Now that we have seen the topics that we will debate on, we are moved to see an overview of the type of activities that we will be implemented inside the hub with the help of your participation. That would be very valuable. So we hope that you are interested to participate. So the first type of activity that we will debate and that it's about the topics that we have been explaining until now. There are the co-creation sessions. There are discussions about the key areas to transitate to circular buildings. You can see here we have the business as usual, the problem that we have to transitate to circular desirable future, and we're going through talking by these 4 topics, the policies, technical solutions, in this case, circular model and construction and demolition waste, business model, and the digitalization and impact assessment. We're going to try to go to new practices, to overcome the barriers that are here, to go to the new practices and this circular desirable future. And this will be through sessions in focus groups, mainly by workshops, when we are going to present some topic and some debate, and we are going to debate all together. And normally will be implemented by digital in the format of digital meetings, but sometimes, as I will explain later, will be face-to-face in the open labs that we have to do in the demo sites, and we are going to take the opportunity that once we have this face-to-face event, to have more dynamic workshops that normally occurs when we are face-to-face. The duration expected is not to steal you more time than 1 hour and a half. This is one of the activity types. Then we have the first one was requires a more active presentation from yourself. It's more about debating, being implicated and involved. This second is also about implication, but maybe in a less format active. That is the consultation and validation sessions. These, for example, are more about the specific thematic that we are learning in Reconstruct. For example, we need about some inputs to do these process learnings, and we are going to ask you to for example, find these inputs with your validation or the validation itself of the inputs that we have already considered. For example, about the methodologies that we are going to do for example, for the assessments or the technical solution that we have developed, so some parts of the technical solutions, maybe to map a state of art together about a specific topic, the policies and barriers, etc. And then, for example, in the outputs, we are going to ask you the same to find for the relevant outputs from your opinion, as a specific type of a stakeholder here. And because we are going to try to have results that are relevant for for everyone, not results that are relevant only for us. And then once we have it, for sure, we ask you for validate this, and if we have, if you consider right in that way, for example, about the indicators expected in the assessments or the policies briefs that we have finally report about the digital also flow, no, of the digital flow that was Tommaso explaining, etc., etc. This will be mainly by the format of digital survey that will be sent by email. For example, we are going to send you a topic, a little explain with the things that we have considered, and we will ask you about the survey to answer these questions about the information that I will give you. And we will try not to do work more than an hour in these sessions. And maybe in some cases, maybe we can ask you for an individual interview about this, but it was in the less of the cases. After this session that are more for working with you, for sure we are going also have some dissemination through the hub. We are trying not to overload you because we are now in a society that's it's overload of information. So we will try to have the specific that will be more relevant. For example, the dissemination reconstruct of the project itself will be a biannual newsletter with the updates of the reconstruct in that moment of the newsletter. Then in the case of general dissemination, this dissemination will be through the stakeholder platform, because we are going to create a stakeholder platform for this project and for the hub to have this network working through this and having some materials and contents relevant. Then Isai will explain you more about the stakeholder platform. So here we will have some relevant events and webinars published that can be that are related with the circularity and the topics of the project. And we will try to not to put so much, only the relevant, and also we'll put, for example, reconstruction TV publications or some handbooks, etc. And also a very important part is the open labs that we are going to do in each demo, in the case of Brussels R3 also. So what are these open labs? These open labs is to visit the demo, to know about the updates, for example, of the construction of the demo, once it is in the process of construction, then when it's already constructed, to show you the technical solutions that we have implemented and to discuss about it. And as I said before, we will do like a day event or half-day event, sorry, for also implement their workshop face-to-face, no, about the co-creation sessions. Maybe some webinar, some information that is relevant for you also will be in these open labs. And then we'll do a final event, as all the European projects for sure, to show these final results and maybe have a very interesting debate about the results of Reconstruct. Then finally, like not activity, but part of the hub will be that, of course, we are going to generate knowledge all together. We as a Reconstruct, but also with all the debates that we can have and the validation of your part. But the important here is that we are going to create training modules based on the Reconstruct topics that we have talking about, but in subsections, because these are very big topics, and we are going to translate to different modules, and they will be available in the stakeholder platform. Of course, always a feedback of the modules will be valuable. Also, will be interested from your part, but of course, as only in the cluster is in the hub is optional, but also it's always, if you want to give feedback, will be good to maybe take into account and change some modules, etc. And another important thing here, I think, is that we have to do 2 videos in each demo. So this will be so they will show the Reconstruct learnings, because they will show the process of fabrication of the elements, then the process of the construction of the demo, and then this part of the construction. In the case of Barcelona, we'll have the construction of the demo at the final of the project, so we'll have more in this part. And this video will include interview with experts, maybe interview with you about your point of view, and we will try to get all the Reconstruct learnings in a very dynamic learn videos to say. So the first activity in the hub, in the case that you are interested and you register, the first activity that we are going to do, that is in February 2025, this kickoff, is the dynamic learning agenda. Then Jeroen will explain more about what is this concept, but the idea is to try to know what you are interested in and to work together in having both the things that we want. I mean, your learnings to be in debate and our needs to be in debate also. And just to show an overview, so we have mapped some interests that we have nowadays to discuss with you, and this will be also mixed with this dynamic learning agenda that I was saying before. For example, we're working on the how the current status in Belgium and Spain in the digital product passports, although also to analyze the valorization routes of the local context. We are going, as I said, to talk in a workshop about the circular construction frameworks and what is this concept. We are going to validate the assessment, the social assessment with you, etc., etc., etc. You will have this recording later and you can see in detail some activities, but I want to tell you that it's only some points just to show you things that can be talked besides the debates of the big topics that I was saying, no more like related with validation and consultation. So thank you very much. I hope that it is clear. If not, if you have some questions, we can debate before, later. And thank you very much. I give the turn to Silke.
Yes. Oké, terug in het Nederlands. Nu dat jullie inderdaad gehoord hebben wat de verschillende topics zijn en wat dat we verwachten van stakeholders, willen we een beetje dieper ingaan op hoe dat we stakeholders willen engageren of kunnen engageren. Eerst en vooral de verschillende actoren in ons project zijn dus de 16 partners die dan gecoördineerd worden door ITEC, waar dan nu José en Tommaso de representatives van zijn. En dan hopen we veel stakeholders te kunnen betrekken binnen ons project ook. Zoals gezegd in het begin zijn wij Green Energy Park dus het contactpunt voor de stakeholders in België. Dus kunnen jullie altijd naar ons toe communiceren. Omdat we weten dat het niet voor iedereen makkelijk is om actief geëngageerd te zijn binnen ons project, hebben we 2 types van stakeholder engagement gedefinieerd, actief en passief. Laura heeft dan net alle soorten activiteiten opgenoemd die er zullen zijn. Dus we hebben die een beetje ingedeeld in wat passieve participatie is en wat de actieve is. Dus passief is bijvoorbeeld de 2-jaarlijkse nieuwsbrief, toegang tot het stakeholderplatform waarop alle informatie wordt gedeeld en waar dat jullie kunnen communiceren met elkaar en met ons ook. En natuurlijk ook een uitnodiging voor de Open Site Labs die georganiseerd zullen worden 1 keer per jaar en het eindevent, slotevent van het project. Als jullie actief geëngageerd zouden willen zijn in het project, natuurlijk hoort alle passieve zaken zitten er dan ook bij, maar dan verwachten we ook deelname in discussion en workshops, in focus groups die voornamelijk online zullen zijn, max tot 4 per jaar. Ook de validatie- en consultatieworkshops die allemaal online zullen plaatsvinden, ook maximum 3 per jaar. En dan ook de Open Labs die ter plekke bij ons op Green Energy Park plaatsvinden, 1 keer per jaar. Dus dit zijn zo de soorten van engagement die er zijn. En hopelijk kunnen we veel van jullie actief engageren natuurlijk, omdat dat het meeste zou bijdragen tot ons project. Dan laat ik de floor back to Jeroen, ook in het Nederlands waarschijnlijk.
Ja, dankjewel. Even kijken. Hè. Ja. Om op een gestructureerde manier samen met jullie te kunnen leren en ook de verwachtingen van beide kanten goed kenbaar te maken en daaruit te kunnen leren, gaan we bij elk groot event dat we doen samen met jullie even een oefening maken. Die oefening, dat is de dynamische leeragenda, de Dynamic Learning Agenda. Dat is eigenlijk een lijst van leervragen die we onszelf stellen, zowel als onderzoekers, maar ook vanuit jullie positie, vanuit de markt. Jullie hebben er vandaag voor de 2 belangrijkste topics al telkens 8 een zekere prioriteit gegeven. Dus die zijn er eigenlijk al eens doorgegaan. We hebben die nu voor onszelf eens opgesteld op basis van de state of the art die we verzameld hebben. Maar de bedoeling is dat we vanaf de kick-off, dat we daar samen met jullie doorgaan en dat we dat verrijken met jullie inzichten en dat we die gaan co-creëren. Ja. We gaan dat niet 1 keer doen, we gaan dat bij elk groot event ook terug eens vastpakken, dat herbekijken, zien hoe dat de prioriteiten verschoven zijn, welke nieuwe acties dat we kunnen identificeren, zodat we zeker zijn dat wat dat wij doen zo relevant mogelijk is voor jullie praktijk. En dat we ook wat dat jullie al geleerd hebben kunnen binnentrekken in ons project als onderdeel van onze leerles. De eerste oefening die we gaan doen zal dus in februari zijn bij de kick-off. We gaan jullie daar sowieso ook van op de hoogte brengen als jullie registreren wanneer dat exact zal zijn. En we gaan dat herhalen over de verschillende events. Vandaag zijn die dus gebaseerd op een oefening die we intern al hebben gedaan. We hebben daarvoor alle barrières die er in de markt zijn dus opgelijst. Daaruit hebben we een aantal leervragen gedestilleerd. En die leervragen geven dan vorm aan de onderzoeksacties die we voor de volgende weken of maanden gaan ontwikkelen. Ja. Dus die oefening, voor ons is het belangrijk dat we die kunnen doen op de 2 topics van Reconstruct, circulair beton en digitale ecosysteem, zodat we zoveel mogelijk van jullie inzichten uit de markt en jullie prioriteiten om in een bepaalde richting een stap vooruit te zetten, dat we die kunnen meepakken, weliswaar binnen de scope natuurlijk van wat dat we in dit project kunnen doen. De vragen hebben we hier eens opgelijst, maar ik ga er niet 1 voor 1 terug doorgaan. Jullie hebben ze al gelezen in de Mentimeter vandaag. Dus dit wordt het startpunt om verder op te bouwen. Die vragen die gaan wellicht vanaf de kick-off in de beide regio's 2 verschillende kanten uitgaan. Ja, afhankelijk van wat dat de noden zijn in Barcelona en in Brussel. Afhankelijk van waar jullie als bedrijf staan in die transitie. En een beetje afhankelijk ook van waar dat de regio als geheel met haar waardeketen de nadruk op gaat leggen. Ja. We hebben dat voor de 2 topics ondertussen al gedaan. En we hopen met jullie voor het eerste februari dat ook in persoon te kunnen doen op ons kick-off event. Zou van elkaar op een gestructureerde manier kunnen bijleren. Isai, ik geef het woord aan jou.
Yes, hello.
Te doy la palabra para los textos del platform.
1 second.
Dale.
Let me share my screen.
Isai, ¿puedes controlar la presentación tocando el botón encima a la izquierda? Controlar, así no tenemos que pasar de una presentación a la otra.
It's a little bit confused. Let me share my screen and it's going to be faster. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Isai Gonzalez. I'm from Iris Technology Solutions. So what I'm going to do is to try to explain a little bit what we are doing about the Digital Hub. Okay. Well, what we are doing is a stakeholder platform. Is mostly focused on sharing project-related educational resources and to have a space to co-create, collaborate about anything that is related with the topic of the project. Okay. The goal of this platform is to offer the following benefits for the stakeholders. Is to create and connect a unique professional network, provide exclusive resource like training modules, best practices examples, and interactive tools, and to offer a space with a forum and workspaces to create among construction industry challenges. The idea is to offer a public launch in June of 2025. We are going to try to have the platform ready before, at least for test purposes. The registration is going to be completely free for everybody. And for the moment, we don't have any link. It's something to be defined. I'm going to explain you a little bit some screens about what we are doing. First of all, it's going to be necessary to register a profile inside the platform because it's going to be open. So we need to moderate the content in some manner, controlling the profiles. Okay, but the registration again is going to be completely free. Inside the platform, what we are going to do basically is going to be the workspaces, which is going to be spaces public or in a public or private mode. And those spaces can be created by any user in the platform. And in the case of the private spaces, the owner of the space has the responsibility to invite the profiles that want to collaborate inside the platform. Inside the workspaces, what we are going to have is an open forum with the possibility to share documents, images, videos, etc., and also meetings with an embed video conference tool and the possibility to chat with other stakeholders. All the information in terms of documents and videos and images, etc., are going to be deployed in a document repository with an open access for all the people that is inside the workspace. And basically is the idea. It's a place to share everything about the topic specific for the topic of the project. And basically it's more or less what we have. Thank you.
Going back to presentation.
Yes, oké. Hopelijk hebben jullie nu
Slide
kunnen warm
94.
maken. Oh, ja, sorry. Yes. Hopelijk hebben jullie met deze presentatie wat kunnen warm maken voor onze stakeholder groep, om onze stakeholders te joinen. We hebben hiervoor een registratieformulier opgemaakt die jullie kunnen scannen via deze QR-code om jullie te registreren. Om jullie deelname te bevestigen, waar jullie ook wat vragen krijgen rond actief of passief, in welke topics jullie geïnteresseerd zijn enzovoort, zodat jullie zeker kunnen focussen op wat jullie kennis is. Aarzel ook niet om de vorm verder te delen met jullie netwerk of met collega's. Hoe meer mensen in ons platform, hoe beter. En jullie krijgen deze vorm ook opgestuurd na de webinar via mail. Dus als het nu niet lukt, jullie hebben nog alle tijd om jullie te registreren. Eerst nog even een kleine verduidelijking. Aangezien dat we een Europees project zijn, is de vorm beschikbaar in het Nederlands, Engels en in het Spaans. Dus jullie gaan eerst, als jullie taal willen veranderen, rechts van boven moeten klikken om het op Nederlands of Engels te zetten voor jullie kunnen invullen. Dus ja, dit was de presentatie van vandaag. Sorry dat we 6 minuutjes over tijd gegaan zijn. En hopelijk van jullie dan. Ik stel geen vragen in de Q&A-box. Als er nog zijn, mogen jullie die zeker nog stellen. En dan kunnen we nog beantwoorden. Anders is het dit voor de meeting.
So in case that there is some questions, you can participate now. And if not, as I was saying in the chat, the registration form will be sent to all who register in this session. In the case that, for sure, or we hope that you like to join us in the hub, and also the recording in the case that you have any doubts to review it. And I hope you will join us on our journey and that you are interested in this session, and I hope you like it. And if you don't receive this email, please contact the email that address of Green Energy Park that was shown in the last slide. If you can put it on the screen.
Yes.
And this will be sent. So thank you very much for your participation. See you, I hope, soon.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes, this meal. Thank you. Thank you very much.